Hi everyone, happy Valentine's Day 2020. This Valentine's Day, I need to reconcile a relationship in my life. It reminds me of 10 years ago how I had to break up with a girl because my life was a mess because of her. And I broke up with her and I came a very long way from that. Well, this year, I don't have that option anymore. I'll let you pause the video to think about why there's a relationship that I cannot just break up. Well, I'm talking about my relationship with food. Unfortunately, food has become very intrusive in my life in many ways, and yesterday I got a little bit of a wake up call. You see, I'm an adjunct professor at a local university nearby, and I was reading my feedback forms. So the students get to write an evaluation at the end of every semester, and I was going through them, and they were mostly positive, but I found one student who was, you can tell he was looking for things to complain about in all of his feedback answers, little things. One day I came in and it looked like I had just woken up. I gave an example that hurt his feelings, whatever. And it made me think about what did I do wrong that semester. And just judging by the way he wrote the feedback. See, I sometimes get to know my students in terms of their writing style and their language style, and even though the feedbacks are anonymous, I have a good idea who might have written it. And so I started to think about what did I do wrong, and I realized what had happened. Last month, I had a day where I got very anxious to get away from him. The reason being that the lecture is between 7 to 9 p.m. and I have office hours at a different time. So 9 p.m. when I finish that lecture, I'm expecting to be able to leave. Let me just check my camera because this is my third time recording. I keep having problems with my camera. Sorry about that. But I was getting ready to leave. 9 p.m. I finished the lecture and I went to the break room to cook a bag of microwavable popcorn. And so I put it in for 2 minutes, and I went to the bathroom, and I came back to get the popcorn, and I sat at my desk, and I think I opened up a YouTube video. I might have even been preparing to record a YouTube video, whatever the case is. It was my time off. And one of the students is still hanging out on the campus, and he has a question for me. And I'm in such a rush to shoo him out of the place. In retrospect, I should have just told him, could you please come back tomorrow during office hours, 3 p.m., 5 p.m., whatever it was. But I was so rushed to answer him that I had a bad attitude, to make a long story short. And I might have even raised my voice. I just had a bad attitude, and this. Unfortunately, I wish I could say that was an isolated incident. But every time I'm getting ready to eat something, if something comes in the way, that's the kind of attitude that I have. Unfortunately, that's why I said it was a relationship with food that I want to reconcile with. Unfortunately, that is not an isolated incident. Not long ago, I work at a tutoring center also. Not long ago, I had a few minutes before the session for lunch, and the students showed up early, and I shoved all my food down, and then I tried to start the tutoring, but I felt horrible, and then I ended up barfing into a garbage can, and neither of those times was I terribly hungry. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I starved myself and I deserve it. No. It's just that the flow of the activities. Yesterday, actually, I was about to go home from work and go pick up a bag of chips that I like at my favorite grocery store, and didn't think much of it, but they were out of the chips, and it just really put an interruption to the flow of activities that I was planning. So, see, last night I got off work at 8 p.m. I was planning to write a computer game. I was planning to go sightsee a little bit. One of my favorite places to go in the local area is the boat ramp in Kirkland. You can see various planets and the moon, sometimes in conjunction. And all that went out the window because I kind of just got lost, because I was expecting to eat. Every time I'm expecting to eat something, if that doesn't happen, it causes all sorts of havoc in my thought process. And you see, if this were a relationship with a girl that made me feel this way, I would have broken up with her long ago. what I'm thinking of doing. So I was reading online, and I happened to see that Lent is coming up, and I was thinking about going on a fast. I probably will not do 40 days, but maybe 5 to 10 days. I want to teach myself that there is life beyond food, because oftentimes I get so fixated on a meal that I lose sight of everything else, all the little wonders of life. You know, that student who showed up 5 minutes early, we could have had a good conversation about anything else. But I got so fixated on that meal. That student who wouldn't leave at 9, maybe I could have taught him some boundaries. My office hours are tomorrow from 3 to 5, or whatever it was. And I missed out on that little teaching opportunity, and instead I got very frustrated at him, and it cost me a negative feedback in my evaluations. And it just goes to show how big an expense I pay just to support my food habit. It's probably cost me a few jobs. It's cost me my relationship with my friends and my family. It's cost me to some degree my health, and eventually it may cost me my life if I don't fix this. So this Valentine's Day will be about my relationship with food, and I hope to be able to reconcile a little bit.